Looking at the trailers we've seen so far for the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom plus that logo, it's very clear that dragons are super important. Well, today I want to have a look at why dragons are so important to the latest entry in the Legend of Zelda franchise, and what this could mean for the story in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Zelda content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 93% of viewers who watch Triforce Times aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, before we get stuck into today's topic, let me know what you think about dragons, why you think they are important, and where you've seen them in the Legend of Zelda series. Well, first of all, I want to specifically look at Tears of the Kingdom and dragons, and the evidence of dragons so far in those trailers. So we've seen a few dragons in the Tears of the Kingdom trailers, and we know that they were important in Breath of the Wild. Many Legend of Zelda games have featured dragons, and it seems like they're going to be central to the story in the next entry. Well, in the latest trailer, we can see dragons featured in the main logo for the game. So towards the end of the trailer, Link is flying through the sky on his new flying machine, or his Sky Mountain. Two dragons come in, featured in a circular design, appearing to eat their own tails. So I did explore what this could mean a couple of videos ago. I recommend going to check that one out if you didn't see it. Since it was released, it has quickly become the most popular video on the channel by far. So there's definitely something in that theory that has resonated with you all. So thank you very much for watching that. Really appreciate it. So very briefly, it appears as if Tears of the Kingdom could be the final game in the timeline. That is not the final game in the Zelda franchise. I just want to clear that up. But it could indicate that time is circular. Given the Sky Islands are floating up into the sky, this could be the creation of Skyloft and connect to the events in Skyward Sword. Go back and check out that video for the full story, so I definitely don't want to go over all that detail again. However, dragons, or the Ouroboros, signify a cycle of life, death and rebirth, and I think that directly relates to Link, Zelda and Ganon. Well, there's one example of a potential dragon in the latest trailer. The eagle-eye fans have spotted a glimpse of what could be in the sky. So Breath of the Wild featured dragons in the game, and given this is a direct sequel, it's not a massive stretch of the imagination to think that they could also be in Tears of the Kingdom, even though Hyrule has been taken over by loads of malice. It really is off in the distance there, but let me know in the comments what you think. Is this a dragon in the sky, or is it something else? We've also seen dragon iconography in previous trailers. For example, in the E3 2021 trailer, we see Link battling with a strange creature who appears to be stuck to a wall, and Link using a dragon-shaped weapon, which appears to act like a flamethrower on his left arm, and it seems to spit fire at the enemy before he does a backflip to get out of harm's way. So the gauntlet seen on his left arm appears to be in the shape of a dragon's head. And finally, we see Link bursting through some double doors before sprinting off the ledge of one of the Sky Islands. On these double doors appears to be the design of a dragon, once again in a circle layout. It is different from the logo design though, with the dragon heads facing each other rather than eating each other's tails. Again, let me know down in the comments what you think that means. Well, next up, I wanted to have a quick look at the short history of dragons in the Legend of Zelda. So the Legend of Zelda series has plenty of examples of dragons, although that relationship appears to be more pronounced in the recent Breath of the Wild. Back in The Adventure of Link, one of the original Zelda games on the NES, a dragon appeared later in the game as a boss. So that was Barber, and that was the boss of the Three-Eyed Rock Palace, and he acted as the guardian of a statue within that temple. In Ocarina of Time, Volva-Gear is the boss of the Fire Temple, and it appears as a lava dragon that dives in and out of the hot magma. In Wind Waker, we've got Valoo, and that is a supporting character who appears on top of the Dragon Roost Island. He's unable to grant the Rito their ability to grow wings due to being hurt by Goma, and Link must defeat that giant scorpion. And then later in the game, Valoo helps out Link and Tetra in escaping Ganondorf. In Twilight Princess, Argorok is the boss in the City in the Sky, and Argorok appears as a red-orange wyvern covered in black armour. So this is going back to Zelda's roots of having dragons as bosses in the games. And then we got Skyward Sword, so Eldin, Faron and Lanayru are protectors of the surface, and each teach Link a part of the Song of Hero. And then we've got the most recent game, so Breath of the Wild. So we've got 3 dragons. They are invincible and appear in various places on the map. While they're not intending to harm Link, their bodies do shed orbs of their element, which can harm him, and they can be harvested for their horns, their scales, their claws, teeth, and they can be used for armor upgrades. Well, next up, let's briefly have a look at what dragons mean in The Legend of Zelda. So we can get some clues as to what dragons mean in the Legend of Zelda series, and it's largely down to Nintendo's Japanese roots and how dragons are perceived in Japanese folklore. In an interview, director Hidemaro Fubayashi said, "As for dragons, we wanted to incorporate something that could be seen from afar, kind of like the divine beasts. And although we thought we could accomplish that with the divine beasts, we also thought we could incorporate a little more, and that would be great. We wanted to incorporate something that was a little bit more romantic, and maybe it's because I'm Japanese, or the team was Japanese, but instead of having that battle theme or something, that's going to have an adrenaline rush, we thought that something mystical, maybe something serene, and a kind of different experience would make the adventure for the player be more exciting. And that's why we decided not to make it necessarily like a battle, and addressing the idea of how Japanese people portray dragons, we wanted to incorporate that feel of godliness, or maybe something more serene." And then IG Aonuma added, in lots of Japanese folklore, there's often stories where dragons are basically incarnations of gods, so I think that might be part of the reason why we incorporated that into the game. Well, that is a really nice, unique perspective there from 2 developers on the game. Really, really interesting stuff. But what does this potentially mean for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Well, I think the appearance of dragons in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has a few implications. They are clearly important. Given dragons are incorporated into the logo design, they're literally front and center when Nintendo are presenting this game to you. And I think there's some meaning there on the timeline and the fact that time is a circle. Although I also think this points to the Zonai being an important part of the game. The Zonai are discussed in the myth and the stories in The Legend of Zelda, and it appears as if they were wiped out long ago. They were primitive, which is indicated through that barbarian set in the original Breath of the Wild, and they worship strength, as seen by their dragon carvings and the structures left throughout the game. I mean, you can't really get any stronger than a dragon. These structures can be visited and seen in Breath of the Wild, so you've got a stone dragon near the Spring of Courage. I believe we're going to be going back in time 10,000 years ago. We see a primitive, wild-looking Link with a different outfit, and I believe this is the original hero that we see in the tapestries and the stories told by Impa and the King in the original Breath of the Wild. I believe we're going to be interacting with the Zonai and uncovering their secrets, why they disappeared, and a whole load more, and the dragon iconography points to this time travel element and interacting with this long-lost tribe, rather than the physical dragons like we see with Farosh, Dinral, and Nadra. Well, that is my thoughts, but let me know in the comments what you think the dragons mean for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Well, that is it for this look at why dragons are important in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Legend of Zelda content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to Triforce Times. Or you can check me out on Twitter at Triforce Times. Well, if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.